Hey everyone, welcome to our guide on Kunkka the Admiral. We are PhysicsMathMan and LuminousInverse, and today we will discuss Kunkka's skill build, role, and item choices. Kunkka is a melee strength hero who can dish out powerful AoE damage while having one of the best single target initiating spells in the game. His skill build is extremely adaptable and can be changed to fit a wide variety of situations. Because of his skill set, he's a suitable counterpick to a lot of heroes. However, he does take some talent to get used to. He is one of the most fun heroes in my opinion to play. Let's take a look at Kunkka's skill set. Torrent, his first spell, summons a powerful pillar of water, which does damage, stuns all enemies caught in the AoE, grants a small area of vision, and slows them by 35% for some time after. Although Torrent has a long 2-second delay after casting, if landed, it will deal half the damage immediately and the other half in 10 ticks during the stun. This makes it extremely effective in removing abilities like Refraction or Living Armor. The second move, Tidebringer, is also known as the Lane Winner. When off cooldown, it adds both a raw bonus damage to his next attack and grants a 100% damage cleave in a giant AoE. It's also very effective in denying creeps because you will benefit from the Tidebringer bonus damage, but it will not reset the timer on the Tidebringer. Keep in mind that the cleave mechanics in Dota ignores armor value, which allows Kunkka to cut through the tankiest of foes with the 100% cleave. His third ability, X marks the spot, marks a location of either a friendly or enemy hero and returns them to that spot after a delay. This ability actually turns out to have some very creative uses. For instance, it can be used offensively to lock down the rather slippery heroes and guarantee combos like the boat and the torrent. Defensively, it can be used on Kunkka to farm waves that are deep in the enemy territory, and you can also use it to return to base, refill your bottle, and get back into the fight immediately. Finally, his ultimate, Ghost Ship, calls upon a phantom boat which travels a distance of 1,000 units in front of Kunkka before crashing. The boat deals a large impact damage, but more importantly, it grants Kunkka and all nearby allies a movement speed bonus, and Coco's Rum, which gives a 50% damage reduction. After 10 seconds, heroes will take the previously reduced damage, but it will never deal fatally. The Rum buff is tremendously powerful during teamfights, and the low cooldown of the boat is simply a bargain for such a powerful ult. There are three main ways you can progress Kunkka's abilities: Tidebringer Max, Torrent Max, or X Max. Tidebringer Max is the most common way to play solo mid Kunkka, and carry or semi-carry Kunkka in general, which focuses on laning and rune control. Maxing Tidebringer in mid lane significantly reduces the cooldown and increases the range at the last level, making Kunkka one of the most annoying heroes to sustain against in lane. The downfall of doing this, of course, is that your X mark is very short range and your torrent will do minimal amounts of damage. Maxing X by level 7 or 8 gives Kunkka insane killing power in the early stages of the game, since high level X combos immediately into Ghost Ship and Torrent, which almost always results in a kill. This allows for a highly aggressive ganking playstyle. Most of your enemies won't expect a long range X at the early points of the game, so you'll get many free kills out of it. Maxing Torrent after gives you more killing power and also supplements your mid-game farming. If you're playing a support Kunkka, you should skip Tidebringer and max these other abilities. Torrent Max is also an excellent way of going about things if your team is full of reliable initiators like Earthshaker, Shadow Demon, or Disruptor. Since your allies can guarantee the Torrent and Ghost Ship landing, maxing Torrent early will give you unexpected magical burst damage. With that said, you'll need to be extremely confident in your own abilities in landing Torrent without the help of your teammates. Okay, for Kunkka we have to talk about his main combo, which will take a bit of practice to learn. Your combo will cost 320 mana before level 11. X marks the spot is the combo starter. If you have level 4 X, you're already standing in the ideal position. If not, you'll need to move back after casting it to about 1,000 distance from the enemy. You are either going to follow up with Torrent Boat or Boat Torrent. Both combos do the same damage but have slightly different advantages. Let's first discuss the Torrent Boat variation. After casting X, cast a torrent on the marked location and immediately throw the Ghost Ship. 1 second later, return the X'd unit. the enemy will be thrown into the air by the torrent and will be too slow after the stun to dodge the boat. The boat-torrent combo is similar. After casting X, throw the ghost ship immediately and follow up with a torrent just before the boat hits. To make this combo work, you have to return your target after 3 seconds. The advantage of the ship torrent combo is that you are maximizing the disables involved, and you are actually making use of the torrent slow after the stuns have expired. The disadvantage is that your enemies have more time to prevent you from Xing the target back. Comparatively, the torrent ship combo comes out much faster at the cost of a weaker disable. Deciding which combo to use primarily comes down to whether you need to guarantee the burst or you need the extra disable to finish the kill. If you're not too confident with your Kunkka gameplay, stick to X, Torrent, and Ghost Ship as it's more difficult for your opponents to break the combo. If you're going to go mid, start with a bit of stats and pull tangos from an ally. The goal of early game Kunkka is to obtain an early bottle, phase boots, and then drum of endurance in order to become a mid-game ganking and teamfight specialist. Once you max Tidebringer, focus on farming in lane until about level 9. Unless you get a great ganking rune, you won't be able to do much with a low level of X. However, if you went with the X max build, you are one of the strongest gankers at level 6. You can often snag a solo kill when hitting level 6 with the patented combo. In case of heavy rune denial from the enemy team, do not fear, as you can always refill your bottle and go to full health by Xing yourself and teleporting home. The mid game starts with your Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger purchase. Both items let you be an excellent initiator for ganks and teamfights. Shadow Blade gives you a much more guaranteed amount of damage, so we recommend it, although Blink Dagger gives much more mobility to weave in and out during a fight. During mid-game, look to X-Mark into Torrent and or Boat combo every time your boat is off cooldown. I can't stress this enough. Don't conserve the ultimate waiting to hit multiple enemies. Just use it whenever any opportunity arises. Even when Kunkka says,
"Now that was a fail boat,"
it's not. It's giving movement speed and a huge damage reduction. Use it when you're getting ganked, use it when your team is getting ganked. Just throw the boat. You should never be walking back to base too. Instead, spend a cheap 100 gold on a teleport and do the X trick, even mid-team fight if necessary. This aggressive style of play will net you lots of early experience, towers, and 1-team fights. In the late game, even if he can dish out a ton of damage, Kunkka still wants to keep his distance from the fight, as his skill set does not allow him to brawl face to face. After obtaining high damage items such as a Daedalus and even the Divine Rapier, you have the possibility of wiping the entire enemy team with a well-positioned cleave. Don't forget that if you cleave off a creep with Tidebringer, you are going to ignore the enemy's armor, which can result in even more damage. If the team fight is more prolonged, try your best to manage the short cooldowns of his various spells, including the Tidebringer. At the later stages, you might also want to focus on buffing your own team with the Ghost Ship rather than initiating on your opponent. This is even more important against wombo combo lineups that rely on bursting your team down in short notice. Having the defensive Coco's Rum buff can salvage a disastrous fight. Finally, your contribution in the late game is also done in the forms of various situational items you buy for the team. Unless you're stacking Data Lie and becoming the one-hit KO machine, tanking for the team with a defensive item build isn't a bad idea. As usual, we're going to wrap this up with the 3 main takeaways for playing Kunkka. Control the early game with Tidebringer is number 1. Use it to get easy denies and push the wave appropriately so you can gather runes. If you cannot get the rune, use the X trick to fill your bottle. Number 2, in the mid game, roam around and try and use the Ghost Ship every time it is off cooldown. Refrain from returning to base as much as possible using the X trick again, so that you can cause commotion while maintaining high levels. Number 3, in the late game after you obtain some power hitting items, dance around the teamfights and look for giant cleaves. Kunkka is one of the most versatile and unique heroes out there. He can play multiple roles and utilizes range and burst power to counter a ton of heroes. The utility of X marks the spot and Coco's Rum also alters how you can initiate and fight. making him one of the most difficult heroes to master. But if your enemies are one bit out of position, Kunkka the Admiral will blast them left and right with his powerful AoE skills. So be on your guard, or you'll always be Kunkka's chum.
Hey guys, we put a lot of effort in these guides, and thank you for watching them. If you guys have any constructive criticisms on how we can improve these guys, please let us know. Make sure you subscribe to Relax Your Fine, as we're putting out content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. See you guys next time.